Morning and welcome to a IQ and IT partnership webinar with KnowBe4. My name's Jack Poulter. I work for a company called Brigantia who are facilitating this today. We've got both Kat from IQ and IT on the line and Ollie from KnowBe4. I'm just going to hand over to Kat to begin a bit of an introduction to IQ and IT before diving into Ollie's presentation of KnowBe4.
So good morning, everyone.
Over to you.
Welcome to today's webinar. We are hoping to make things a bit more clearly of how people can look after their company's security and also individuals and keeping the sort of wider community secure from cyber criminals. So we have, I see Jack and Ollie with us, and Ollie will be taking us through details of how we use the system, how we work with KnowBe4, and how we protect our clients from cyber threats, how we train them. So I will hand over to Ollie.
Great.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks for the introduction, Derek. Everybody, thank you for joining us on this webinar today. The first thing first to point out, apologies about my slides. I do believe they're not kind of picking up or coming through correctly today. So yeah, sorry about that. But the important stuff is the messaging around it. And I can obviously go through that, you know, with everyone on the call today. So, you know, first of all, I'm just going to talk a little bit about who we are, where we come from, and then I'm going to dive into the product side of things to give you guys an overview of exactly that. It's how we can enable your employees to make smarter security decisions every day by using our platform to train and phish them. So, just a little bit about us. We've been around since 2010. We have 34,000 customers worldwide. In put that into perspective, that is about 13 million users of our platform globally. Okay, so we're very well trusted in this space. We've been around since 2010. We actually come from an antivirus background. Our CEO was ex-antivirus. He built a company called Viper Software, and anyone's heard of that, and basically realized that, you know, ransomware, you know, back in 2010 was something that was really, you know, being pushed out. It was happening all over the place, and effectively users were still clicking on links, and the actual, you know, end customers, or sorry, should I say end users, are, you know, clicking on, you know, links, and that's really where we build from, is coming through of having a modern day security awareness, instead of maybe having, you know, sessions in an IT room for half a day or a day. What we do here is continuously, you know, teach your end users. And then more commonly over the last couple of years, you know, things like GDPR's come into play. There's a lot more security, there's a lot more audits going on. And, you know, we will be part of those audits of providing ongoing security awareness training and keeping staff up with trends, and also just keeping them on the ball. And that's exactly where we come from here, is we'll fit quite nicely into a security stack. And as it says here, we start with the human. We call ourselves the human firewall, as cheesy as that line is, but you know, it's right. If we can train the staff and we can educate them, and just so they can look out for, you know, what to see from a phishing email, or just give them little helpful hints and tips, you know, absolutely, you know, we can do that. So this is how we work. We work on this circular motion here. Now, some people start with training, but actually quite a lot of people probably would start with a phishing email as well. And what we would call that is a baseline test. We can run that baseline test, run that round and analyze those results, and then continuously train people as well. And notice how I'm saying continuous there. This isn't something that we're just going to do, you know, once a year or twice a year. It is good to have this. We do recommend at least monthly for both phishing and training for that. And some people even do more than that. And again, it really depends on what you want to do as an organization. So what you know, what we can just show and what we can prove, obviously from data that we've had over the last 10 years and analytics, and you know, an initial baseline test, you are looking at around about 37%. So I'm just going to take that easy number out of 100. You know, that's 37 people that are failing a phishing test from the beginning. And as you can see, we can get this right the way down to 4%. In some industries, this is even lower than that. So we do get it around 2, and I think it's best it's about 1.75. But it just shows here that, our training works. What we're doing is education, and these are the factors that we're trying to put in here. So, reducing malware infections, any data loss, increase user productivity, but also have security on the top of their mind. And this is probably quite a big one here. Unfortunately, obviously, we're in a global pandemic. There's no hiding that. But unfortunately, phishing emails went up around about 660% in March of this year. Emails like World Health Organizations, government, HMRC, those kind of emails have really heavily quite impacted our personal accounts, as well as your Amazon's, Netflix, Microsoft emails that have come out as well. And actually, if we think about it, if those are hitting our personal accounts everywhere, we can say for sure that they're all hitting our business accounts as well. Now, obviously, for your business accounts and things, we would hope that you'd have, a certain level of protection to stop a majority of them, but actually quite a lot of them are still getting through. And if you think about the other side of the chain, is that you have hackers out there, unfortunately, that are preying on businesses, all businesses, no matter what size, with things like domain spoofing. We have a lot of, fraud with accounts or invoices, and those are top things to look out for as well. Unfortunately, we speak to clients quite regularly, where they've been paying invoices, £50 here, £100 here, and actually someone has gone in to a third party, maybe spoofed their account and changed some bank details, and they're sending that information to the wrong people. And I'll show you a little bit on our platform in a second what that looks like, and how we can run these tests just to keep your employees, on their toes. And now, can't probably see it too much here because my graphic's not that great, so apologies again. But as you can see, KnowBe4, we are marked as leaders in a Forrester's Wave. If you're not familiar with the Forrester's Wave report, it is an independent report done by an independent body on the security awareness market. And we are in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We are marked as leaders in that as well. And we've just come out in the grid score as well. Again, another third-party independent as leaders in that field. And it's exactly what we're trying to do. We're fully concentrating on security awareness and on this area to bring not only some of the best content out there in the market, but also a lot of phishing emails to back that up as well. So look, that's enough about KnowBe4 as a company. What I'm going to do now is go into the dashboard. We're going to have a little look around and show exactly what the platform can do within terms of training and the testing side of things as well, because we don't necessarily just do phishing, but it's a really good way for you just to have an overview of what we do. So what I just want to show you here is that this is an admin view, so this is an admin view of the portal. I will show you what what your end users will see, and effectively what we have here is a software as a service and based solution. We are held in Amazon Web Services based in Dublin as well, and we're fully GDPR compliant, as you would expect from a company like ourselves. So lots of really good information and lots of good data that we can gather from our dashboard here. And what I'm just going to take us to first is actually our user tab. Okay, so one of the big things from an audit point of view about a product like ours is that trail, is that information of saying, okay, I'm doing security awareness training, Mr. Auditor or whoever it is, and they say, well, how can you prove that if you were doing, say, classroom-based training or something like that? Now, what we have here is a full overview of exactly who's undergoing training, and we have everyone's name in here, and we can literally just click on that account, and then it will show us exactly what they've done in terms of their phishing results, see what training they've completed. So we've had 6 completed results here and as well, and we can even see things like a user timeline. So what this timeline does is gives us that overview of exactly when they've logged in and out, and when they've completed those training courses as well. Now, we can obviously provide them on a case-by-case scenario as well, so as in for a training program, but it's really good to have this information for that user here as well. So if I just go back here, we actually send a lot of our emails out and a lot of our training out via groups. Now we can send this to everyone, so don't get me wrong, we can send it to the whole, we can send it to the whole company, or we can really be specific and maybe send some direct training, to the accounts team, or phishing again to the accounts team. Maybe we'd want to do that. Or maybe we'd also want to send some training to high-level management. So we've got some high-level management training, or CEO fraud, again, to any maybe finance or management parties there as well. So again, really good overview. We can make as many groups as we like in here, and any subgroups from there as well. In getting our users into the platform, we have a nice easy CSV drop or a quick import here as well. And again, this will keep all your users into the platform. But really quite nicely, just to finish off with users, we do have an active directory synchronization. So this works with either your on-premise, and it does work with Azure. And effectively what we can do here is have your users added to the platform, and they will then be added in to our programs and to our training here as well. And it obviously just keeps it as alive as long as your Active Directory is all pretty accurate and in line there as well. So that's pretty much the bonuses about users, having everything in here, and again we can gather sort of good reports and information on that as well. So what I'm just going to pop over to now is our mod store, and again apologies about this coming through. I'm not sure what it's like on your screens, but the picture quality might not be that good, but the main features of here is what we're trying to get at. So the fantastic thing about our product and what we can offer here is security awareness training, but security awareness training for everyone. And what I mean by that is that we have these different content types here. So we've got training modules, games, video modules, newsletters and security docs, posters and artwork, and assessments here as well. And what we can do there is supply training to your end users that might be for them. So you might have a subgroup, or you might send it out to whole staff. You might send this Spot the Fish game, for example. So this is a really good game. It's around phishing, understanding what to do with that. We then have a comedy series. So we have a comedy series from Restricted Intelligence. I think we're on, this is season 7. I think we've got 8 to come as well. And effectively what we have the ability to do there is provide security awareness training, but keep it engaging and keep it fun. So this one, for example, very topical at the moment, working from home, understanding what actually, dangers we might have. Things like, I've just received an email from my CEO asking me to pay an Amazon voucher. He's never sent me that before, but it's the CEO. So should I just pay it? Or should I maybe drop him a message? Or maybe should I ask someone? And that's the point there that we're trying to say, is that if people are working from home at the moment, would they take that precaution and, or would they ring the CEO? Potentially not. They might not do that. But would they then potentially, pay that? Effectively someone else would be getting their money there. And that's the point of some of our working from home modules, is that, if people are at home, you feel a bit safer, or you feel a bit more secluded from the office. Therefore, you might need some process and policies in place to be like, well, actually, if you don't think that's a CEO, or don't think you should make that payment, then, don't do it. Make an action, get a Teams notification to him, whatever, you might need to do in that instance. We also have things like common threats, and we've got, social engineering red flags. We have over 80 compliance modules, GDPR, PCI. We have about 60 to 65 HR modules, harassment in the workplace, stuff like that. So we are fundamentally around security awareness training, but we do go down other avenues as well. So yeah, please feel free if you have any demands or requests for any training around that as well. Yeah, please get in touch. The Inside Man is a new thing that we've brought out. Okay, it's actually, we again add a cheesy strap line. It's the Netflix of security awareness training. So what we have here is a mini series, and this series consists of 10 episodes in season 1 and 10 episodes in season 2. And there's a plot, there's a baddie, and there's a guy who gets a new job in the security team, and there is a bit of action. There's characters that you follow. And the main reason that we want to do that, and the main reason we're looking at that in the market, is because Well, that's what everyone does at home now, right? Everyone logs on to BBC iPlayer or Netflix or whatever, they choose. And then they're watching a series. So if we can make our security awareness training like that, keep people engaged, keep it fun, but also keep it to the point. First episodes, not to spoil things, is, if they drop a USB stick on the floor and actually the chap gets through the office security by taking a visitor's badge as they're leaving. Now, a lot of people might not think that that's, IT security, but it is. Tailgating is a thing. Again, getting into places that you shouldn't, it also happens all the time. And yeah, picking up USB sticks on the floor, although it might seem fun just to do that, it's a really, really easy way for people to gain access to your network. So with this training, we are trying to be more engaging to all levels of staff and keep everyone entertained with that as well. And because they're all 8 minutes long, we're not asking for hours on end. You could have, an episode a month. And again, it just keeps your employees regularly trained. We have foundational training, we have monthly training. And again, the good variety of this is really handy. We actually have 10 different publishers that publish content into here as well, which obviously means you're not going to get like the same cartoons, or you're not going to have the same actors every time. And again, it just goes back to that engagement piece of being, keeping your end users interested and keeping them on the ball. Last couple of things about training, we do have brandable content that's available. So you can add your company logo at the beginning or at the end. We do actually turn into a full learning management system as well. So you can actually add your own content into our product. And then from there, you can use our reporting tools and keep it all in one place. Where I see that most commonly used is you might have like a message from the CEO, when it comes, when a new starter joins, you might give them some security awareness training, you might give them something around phishing, a compliance module, and you might have a little message from the CEO or whoever saying, hi there, welcome to the company, please undertake your management training or something like that. So yeah, see that quite commonly used as well. And then from a training aspect, we can obviously come in here and we can see exactly what's going on in terms of who's training and who hasn't. So if I click on this baseline security test here, I can come in and see exactly what my users have done. Now, this is actually an assessment that I have here, so we can see if people have passed or have failed this assessment. And we can do that by clicking this assessment result here. But what's also really handy about this assessment result is we can see exactly maybe where potential weaknesses in the business. So because this is a survey that they filled out, they'll come back and we'll say, oh, actually, we've got quite a low score around social media here. Oh, what am I going to do with that? Well, actually, let's send them some training around social media and be specific with the risk that we have. But obviously, we have training plans that we can send out and work with you guys with as well. And just lastly, from an aspect of this point, I'm just going to go in and just show you what a training tab would look like for your staff to log into. So this is Aaron's account, for example. I can then come in as Aaron and I can see exactly what training I've completed. I can actually see what emails that I've been sent as well. So I can see if I've sent or been sent some phishing emails and how I've reacted to those. But if I go to my training tab just at the bottom here, or sorry, at the top, and I will then literally be logged in. And then from here, I can see exactly, what training I need to complete. And it's a really nice way just for me to see exactly what I need to do here as well. And then what we do have available is policies. So as long as they're in PDF format, you can actually attach policies to here. Again, maybe like a safe browsing the internet policy or working from home policy. You might add that in, wrap it around a working from home training session, and then you've kind of, hit two birds with one stone there. And again, that will all be notified back to the console, and it will, keep your user updated to say, yeah, they've done their training and actually they've signed that employment policy as well. So just onto the testing and kind of things now. So we do have phishing available, but we also do have USB testing, okay? So if you have your USB ports open, I mentioned it a minute ago, if you were to drop this USB maybe in communal areas, if anyone was to pick this up and put it into their laptop, basically what we get out the back of that is we get some details on who they are, what their IP address is and when they've actioned that. And then at the back of this, we can say, well, actually you need some training around USBs and why it's important not to pick them up off the floor, or, or trade shows is another way that I've seen USBs handed out, and you kind of think, well, actually what's on that USB? So, it's things like that, again, that we might just be able to, learn and teach others to be like, yeah, that could be a security risk to our organization. So yeah, let's teach you on how to do that. And again, this isn't about naming, it's not about, blaming people, it's just about, having that education layer to stop that risk. We also have vishing. So vishing is voicemail phishing. Okay, so we have the ability to call either mobile numbers or direct dials. Obviously, always recommend that to be work and never personal accounts. And what we have the ability to do here is, for example, it will call that person and it will say, yeah, hi there, you must upgrade your PIN and please go by into your 4 digits now. Now, if they were to enter those 4 digits, again, they would fail this test. And again, we've got some vishing training, understanding what to look out for, and how, we can stop that. On a bigger scale, we've just seen something like this happen with Twitter. So I don't know if anyone's seen the Twitter report, but actually it did start from social engineering. It did start from people actually using the telephone. I believe they're actually not using a voice control, but they're actually using themselves in person. They then managed to gain some access into some admin accounts and then produced, I think, can't remember how many accounts it was, but pretty high profile accounts asking people to play Bitcoin. I think they got around about 200 or 250,000 in that account. But it was just to show, social engineering is a big thing. It still happens. You hear things as well of people changing account details from house sales, and then solicitors actually then send the wrong money to people because they've been fooled into changing any account details. So, real world examples that this is happening. The BBC reported this on the rise at about 300% from 2019. I'd be interested to see their figures for this year. But yeah, it's really a good way to see that as well. And from a phishing perspective now, so I'll transfer over to you here. And what we have, again, the ability to do here is phish your users, okay? So if we go to our email templates here, because of what we would first set up, we would actually set up your internal, Office 365, Gmail, whatever that is, and to receive the KnowBe4 emails, so they don't go in spam, they don't go in quarantine. And then what we can then do is send, some real life examples, over. And again, what we're doing here is just testing anyone that's had these emails. So we put them all into categories here on the left-hand side. I'm just going to pick just as an example of some of these emails that we have available. And let's pick one of our more difficult rating ones as well. And I just wanted to show an example of what someone could have. I think there's a good Microsoft one down here somewhere. There we go. I'll pick this one actually. This one's a pretty good one. So it just shows that this is the kind of email that we can send to people. A lot of people might think, oh yeah, okay, 3 months free. That sounds like a good idea. If I then activate that offer, it takes me to a landing page. And this landing page will basically say, stop, think about what you've done and give this as a red flag. Now, obviously, we've got our branding on this one. It's my demo account, but we can have this branded, to your company logo as well. So yeah, we can have that available. So what I have also the ability to do here is we can run a test. Maybe, for example, let's go on to Office 365 and have a look at one here. Let me pick that category, sorry. So what we can have is like support team messages or links here as well. And then if I action that, and here, again, we can have a look and see that's coming from Office 365. And the same thing can reply here if you're causing that link and you're pressing that link. What I am just going to show you is one that I was meant to, is one that we call for phishing for sensitive information. So what we mean by that is that we can actually send a phishing test out that has the ability to go to another page. So this is the one I was looking for. It generally looks like an Office 365 email. If I was to press send again, what this does is actually takes me to this preview page here. Again, in real life, this would look very much like the Microsoft login page that you see, day in, day out. And then if I was to enter any details in here, press next, and then sign in, what then I would get is to that other landing page that it takes me to say, stop, think about what you've done. So, but what we gain out of that is that we actually gain information on that user. So we don't hold any of that information in terms of passwords or anything along those lines. But what we do get from our campaign, and if we click on our initial campaign here as well, oh, I keep doing that, then basically what we have is an overview of the users, of when they failed, first 8 hours or failures by day. But actually what we do see here as well is we actually see the users here as well, how many recipients have this sent to? I've had 147 people click on this email. I've had 3 people open an attachment. I have 6 people that entered data. So we can see here that these 6 people have entered their credentials, potentially given away passwords or anything like that as well. We also, attachments, really common fake invoices and fake purchase orders, whatever that might be. Again, we can test the users by adding an attachment onto the email from there as well. So what we can gather from the information is, we do have landing pages that are sent and that are predetermined with what we may have failed on. So if we have a look at some of our system landing pages here, and I'll show you something called our social engineering indicators. So just as a preview here, we can actually fundamentally see, what the user has clicked on. But actually, I can then hover over as a user and basically see what these, red arrows are. So we can see here, it's sent from a spoofed organization, or really just quite a common one. If we hover over that link, it's not going to take us to, the IT desk. It's taking us to something completely random here as well. So it's a really good overview to see, from those point of view as well. And just lastly, from a campaign perspective, if I can find it, there we go. And we do have a reported button as well. So this is called our fish alert button. And basically what it allows your users to do, it allows your users to report an email if it comes into the organization that potentially is a fish. So what I mean by that is they can literally click on a box. It's an extension to the Office 365 email or on-premise, whatever you're using. And what it allows your company to have is a process in place. So yes, I failed, or I've seen a phishing attack. I'm going to click on that link, and then it gets reported. Obviously, if it's a genuine threat to the organization, is a genuine phishing email, you can have that forwarded to an IT inbox of your choice, wherever you would like that. Or you have the possibility of that if it's a simulated test, and it will just be sent back to the platform here, and we'll then be able to see from a reported point of view exactly what that is. And then just lastly from myself today, it's just going back to the dashboard and obviously seeing a full overview here and exactly what your risk scores are. We can see exactly what your phishing percentage is. You can even pick, your organizations, small, medium, low, whatever you sit in, and run some analysis of how you're getting on against everyone, and again, what it looks like after 90 days and what it looks like after a year. And again, you can be sector specific with that as well and pick which one you're in. And then lastly here, we can also see your fish alert. So a really good bit of data and information on here as well is you've got your non-simulated reports at 183. And then we can look at things like, do we need to update your spam filters? Do we need to work on things to stop some of these phishing emails coming through that are a genuine threat to the organization? And that is everything from me. So probably back to Kat or Jack to see, I suppose, if there are any questions that have been added in the chat, or to finish off.
Thanks, Ollie. I'm just going through the questions. There was one basically covering what the current trends we're seeing, but you seem to have covered that through the presentation. If anyone's got any other questions, please put them in the chat box now. But if not, I'll hand over to Kat. Kat, do you have anything to mention?
Yeah, so I just wanted to sort of go through what we've been seeing since the sort of start of the pandemic. There are a lot of organizations who have obviously been furloughing staff. They've been furloughing their IT staff as well, which then caused a huge spike in their emails being compromised and sending emails from legitimate mailboxes out to attack people they've previously spoken to. Some of them were our clients. That's why we've been picking it up and trying to get in contact with them. Was nearly impossible because there was no one there. So we've been using Twitter, LinkedIn, phone numbers, email addresses to make these organizations aware that their email has been compromised. And if something like that happens, those emails aren't going to be filtered out as a spam because they are legitimate. They've just been taken over by hackers, and they then have a very easy way to try and pretend to be the potential client of ours, and trying to sort of misuse the trust and try and provide false bank details or false information to them to either gain access to information or get financial gain from it. Other things which we've been seeing is obviously people clicking on links and falling the victims to it. So what we do as part of sort of new users starting for our clients, we do a basic cyber awareness, let them know what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and to contact us ASAP if they think that they might have done something wrong, to be able to stop any potential threat straight away. And obviously with the clients who have chosen to use this training and testing platform, we do the setup for them. We integrate it with Office 365 or internal Active Directory, so new users coming on get automatically enrolled, and they start the training, and we can then monitor and potentially enroll them in additional training if they need to, or take it out with their managers to say, we think that they need to perhaps have some face-to-face training as well. So varying on what the requirements are for our clients, how much at risk we think they are, we recommend certain steps and certain trainings for them to undertake. As Ollie said, it's a circular thing. It's not we put in a piece of software or piece of hardware and everything is nice and secure. It's an ongoing thing and an ongoing battle, just like the real world is at the moment with the corona. This is exactly what's happening in the cyber world, and obviously that has been accelerated by the pandemic because there's lots more opportunities of people working from home, things changing constantly. So there is the chance for more infiltrations and more damage which is being caused and needs to be stopped as well as in the physical world.
Perfect. Thanks, Kat. And if there's any questions in the meantime, please contact Kat. She has a direct contact with Ollie who can help answer any questions you may have. But is there anything else you wanted to add, Ollie?
I think that's everything from me, and just really thank everyone's time today for joining us. I really appreciate it, and yeah, thank you both, Kat and Jack, for organising. Yeah, it's been great.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much for attending, and we will be posting the recording later on for anyone who's missed out to view it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.